My name is Lorraine. I'm 76 years old now, and it took me 54 years to understand something about happiness that I wish someone had told me much earlier. Not because it would have made my life perfect, but because it would have changed how I experienced it. When I was younger, happiness felt like something I was supposed to arrive at, like a destination. You do the right things, make the right choices, endure the hard parts, and eventually you reach a place where everything feels settled. That's what I believed in my 20s. I thought happiness would come after I finished building my life, after the work was stable, after the relationships were secure, after I had proven something to myself, to others, maybe both. But happiness doesn't work like that. It doesn't wait patiently at the end of your efforts. It moves quietly through your life while you're busy trying to reach it. And if you don't understand that early, you can spend years chasing something that has already been appearing in front of you, just not in the way you expected. At 22, I thought happiness meant progress, forward movement, becoming something. I had plans, clear ones, the kind that make you feel like you are in control of your future. I knew what kind of life I wanted, the kind of work, the kind of home, the kind of stability that would make everything feel right. And for a while, it felt like I was on that path. I worked hard. I made careful decisions. I avoided risks that didn't seem practical. I did what I thought responsible people were supposed to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Responsibility matters. But here is what I didn't understand at the time. You can do everything right and still feel something missing. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a way that makes you stop everything and question your life. Just a quiet feeling. A sense that something hasn't quite arrived yet. I remember sitting in my apartment one evening in my early 30s. Everything was in order. Bills paid, work steady, life stable. And I remember thinking, is this it? Not with disappointment, more with confusion, because I had reached a place I once believed would feel complete, and it didn't. It felt fine, but not full. And that difference is important. Fine can carry you for years. You can live a whole life that looks fine from the outside. But fullness is something else. Fullness is what makes life feel meaningful from the inside. I didn't understand that yet, so I did what most people do when something feels slightly off. I assumed I needed more. More progress, more achievement, more structure. So I worked harder. I focused more. I told myself happiness was still ahead, just a little further down the road. And that belief carried me through my 30s and into my 40s. But something began changing slowly during those years. Not in one moment, in small realizations. Moments where I noticed something I had been overlooking. One of those moments came on a Sunday afternoon. Nothing special about the day. No event, no celebration, just an ordinary afternoon. I was sitting with my mother in her living room. She was telling me a story I had probably heard before, something from her younger years. I don't even remember the details now, but I remember something else. The feeling, the way she laughed in the middle of the story, the way the sunlight came through the window and landed across the floor, the quietness of the moment, nothing urgent, nothing important by most standards. But something about that moment stayed with me, because for a brief second, I wasn't thinking about what was next. I wasn't thinking about work or plans or what needed to be improved. I was just there, present, and that feeling, just being there, felt different from anything I had been chasing. I didn't have a word for it at the time, but now That was happiness. Not the kind I had imagined. Not loud, not dramatic, just complete. And the strange thing is, I almost missed it. Because I wasn't looking for happiness in moments like that. I was looking for it in outcomes, achievements, arrivals. That moment planted something in my mind, a small question. What if happiness isn't where I've been looking for it? I didn't answer that question right away. Life continued. Responsibilities continued. But that question stayed with me, quietly. And over the next few years, I began noticing more moments like that. Small ones, easy to overlook. A conversation that lingered a little longer than expected. A walk where I felt calm for no particular reason. A quiet evening where nothing needed to be fixed or planned. And each time, I felt that same thing. Not excitement, not achievement. Just a quiet sense of enough. But I still didn't fully understand it. Because part of me was still holding on to the old belief that happiness would arrive once everything else was in place. And it took me many more years and one very specific moment to finally understand what happiness actually is and why it takes so long for most people to see it clearly. It took me until I was 54 to finally understand what those small moments had been trying to show me. 54, more than half a lifetime. And the truth didn't arrive in a dramatic way. It didn't come as a realization that stopped everything. It came quietly, on a day that looked like many others. I remember it clearly though, because once you see something like this, you don't unsee it. It was a weekday afternoon, nothing special. I had just come home from work, tired in that familiar way that settles into your shoulders and stays there. The house was quiet, too quiet. My children were grown by then, living their own lives. The rooms that once felt busy now felt still, and I sat down in the kitchen with a cup of tea, not thinking about anything important, just sitting. And I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. There was no urgency, no immediate problem, no demand waiting for my attention. For the first time in a long time, nothing was pulling at me. And instead of feeling relief, I felt a strange discomfort, as if I was waiting for something to happen, something to fix, something to move toward, but nothing came. And in that stillness, something became clear to me. I had spent most of my life in motion, chasing, planning, solving, improving. Even when nothing was wrong, I was preparing for what might go wrong. Even when things were stable, I was thinking about what needed to come next. I had trained my mind to always be reaching forward, and in doing that, I had overlooked the only place where life actually happens, right here. That moment in the kitchen was the first time I truly saw it. Happiness is not something you arrive at. It is something you allow. And I had not been allowing it, not fully, because I had been waiting for a version of life that didn't exist. A version where everything is complete, everything is certain, everything is resolved. But life is never fully resolved. There is always something unfinished, something uncertain, something that could be improved. If you wait for life to be perfect before you feel at peace, you will wait a very long time. That realization didn't make me suddenly happy. That's not how it works. But it changed how I started paying attention. Instead of asking, what's missing, I began asking, what's here? And that question changed the way I experience my days. Because when you ask what's missing, your mind immediately finds answers. There is always something missing. More time, more money, more clarity, more security. But when you ask what's here, the answers are different. A quiet moment, a steady breath, a conversation that doesn't need to lead anywhere. Those things had always been there. I just hadn't been seeing them. There was another part of this realization that took even longer to accept. Happiness is not constant, and it was never meant to be. This is something many people misunderstand. They believe happiness should be a steady state, something you maintain, something that defines your life if you are doing things correctly. But that belief creates pressure, because no one feels the same way all the time. Life includes frustration, loss, confusion, periods where things feel unclear. For many years, I thought those feelings meant something was wrong, that I was not living the right way. But now I understand something different. Happiness is not the absence of those things. It is the presence of meaning alongside them. You can feel sadness and still have moments of peace. You can feel uncertain and still notice something good in your day. Those things are not opposites. They exist together. Once I accepted that, something inside me relaxed. I stopped trying to create a perfect emotional state, and instead, I began noticing the moments that felt real. Another thing I began understanding in my 50s was how much comparison had shaped my idea of happiness. We compare constantly, even when we don't realize it. We look at other people's lives, their achievements, their families, their stability, and we measure ourselves against that, quietly, without saying it out loud. But comparison has a cost. It pulls your attention away from your own life. It makes what you have feel smaller, less complete. I remember realizing one day that I had spent years measuring my life against a version of life that wasn't even mine. Expectations that came from other people, from what I thought I was supposed to want. Once I saw that clearly, I began letting it go. Not all at once, but gradually. And as I did, my life began feeling more like my own. Not perfect, not extraordinary, but real. And there is something deeply satisfying about living a life that feels like it belongs to you. Not one you are trying to match, but one you are actually experiencing. By the time I reached my late 50s, the question had changed completely. I was no longer asking, how do I become happy? I was asking, how do I stop missing it? Because happiness had been there, in small ways, for many years. I just hadn't been paying attention. But there is one more part of this, the part that matters most. The part that explains why it took me 54 years to truly understand it. It took me 54 years to understand happiness, because I was looking for it in the wrong place. Not entirely wrong, just incomplete. I thought happiness was something I had to build, something I had to reach, something that would arrive once I had done enough, achieved enough, secured enough. And that belief shaped how I lived for decades. I don't regret those years. They were full, busy, meaningful in their own way. But I see them differently now, because I understand something I didn't understand then. Happiness is not the result of a finished life. It is the result of an experienced one. An experience requires attention. That's the part most people miss. You can live a full life and not feel it. You can move through years of activity, responsibility, achievement, and still feel like something is missing because you were there physically, but not fully present. I was like that for a long time. My mind was always slightly ahead of where I was, thinking about what needed to happen next, what needed to be fixed, what needed to improve. Even in good moments, part of me was already moving forward. And when you live like that, life becomes something you are constantly preparing for, but never quite arriving in. At 54, when that understanding finally settled in, I didn't suddenly change everything. I didn't quit my responsibilities or abandon structure. That's not realistic. But I began making small changes in how I experience my days. And those small changes made a quiet but powerful difference. The first thing I changed was how I moved through ordinary moments. I started noticing them intentionally, not just passing through them on my way to something else. If I was sitting with someone, I tried to actually be there, not thinking about what I needed to do after. If I was eating, I noticed the food, not just finishing it quickly. If I was walking, I paid attention to the surroundings, the air, the sounds, the pace of my own steps. These may sound like small things. They are, but they are also where life happens. Not in the big milestones, those come and go. Life is lived in the space between them. The second thing I changed was how I treated time. For most of my life, time felt like something I needed to manage carefully, schedule, optimize, use efficiently. And there is value in that, but there is also a cost. When you treat time only as something to use, you forget to experience it. So I began allowing certain parts of my day to remain unstructured. Not every moment needed a purpose. Not every hour needed a goal. Some time could simply exist. At first, that felt uncomfortable, like I was wasting something. But over time, I realized I was gaining something, space. And in that space, I began feeling more present, more aware, less rushed. The third thing I changed was how I spoke to myself. This one surprised me because I didn't realize how much of my thinking was focused on what was not enough. Not enough progress, not enough time, not enough improvement. That kind of thinking becomes a habit, a quiet background voice that follows you through your day, and it shapes how you feel, even when things are going well. So I began shifting that voice, not by forcing positivity, but by acknowledging what was already there, what had been done, what was working, what was enough for now. That shift didn't remove problems, but it changed the way I experienced them. They no longer defined the entire day. They became part of it, and that difference matters. Because happiness is not about removing everything difficult. It is about not letting difficulty take up all the space. Another thing I began understanding in those later years is how little happiness depends on large events. We spend so much time preparing for big moments, vacations, celebrations, milestones. And those moments are wonderful, but they are rare. Most of life is made of ordinary days, quiet routines, small interactions. And if you don't learn how to experience those days fully, You will spend most of your life waiting for something that only happens occasionally. I stopped waiting. That is the simplest way I can say it. I stopped waiting for life to feel complete. And instead, I began noticing where it already was. In small ways, in quiet ways, in moments that would have felt unimportant to me when I was younger. At 76, my life is slower now. Not empty, just slower. And that slowness has revealed something I couldn't see before. Happiness is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not arrive with certainty and stay permanently. It appears gently, in moments where nothing is missing, even if just for a few seconds. And those moments are enough. If I could sit with my younger self, the one who was always moving, always planning, always reaching, I wouldn't tell her to stop. That's not how life works. But I would tell her this: you don't have to wait. You don't have to reach some perfect version of life to feel at peace. It is already here, in small pieces, every day. You just have to notice it, because the truth is, happiness was never hiding from me. I was just looking past it, and it took me 54 years to finally see what had been there all along.